Back in 2016, I went in for what was supposed to be an outpatient procedure. And it was supposed to be really simple. The doctor told me that I would only need maybe 1 or 2 weeks to recover, but I never made it home the same. During the surgery, my ureter was perforated and my bladder punctured due to a medical malpractice. My body was closed back up with internal damage that was gone unnoticed. And what should have been a routine visit turned into my sons finding me unresponsive. It was a life-threatening nightmare. This particular damage, it triggered a chain reaction throughout my entire body, and it left me with a staph infection that caused my kidneys to shut down, my liver shut down, all my internal organs started doing their own thing. The staph infection was so bad, it spread extremely quick, like literally in minutes. And then I could hear the doctors telling my family that they didn't believe that I was going to make it. I had an abscess on my spine, an abscess in my abdomen, several blood clots. My veins collapsed. I had to have 10 major operations. PICC lines in my neck, PICC lines in my arm. Then I do remember spending 6 months on a catheter that I literally was, tied around my leg because my bladder needed to rest. I lost over 30 pounds, and I'll share that picture. It was bad. My hair fell out. I saw so many different doctors that I didn't even realize that these doctors existed at that particular time. I heard of them, but it just never dawned on me. I had to see a nephrologist, an oncologist, a urologist, a hematologist, and a cardiologist. And I still had to sit with an infectious disease doctor and a specialist. And they all assisted in trying to keep my body alive. There were moments that the doctor would come back and give my family updates, and those updates were not good updates. I remember at one point my body being so weak that I had to relearn how to sit up because I couldn't sit up on my own. My abdomen, it was shot. My muscles, they were totally, they were weak. I know that my right thigh was, I lost feeling in my right thigh. I do remember them taking a tube and putting it in my left thigh and bringing an accordion drain out of my left buttocks. And so I had an accordion drain hanging out on the left and one on the right. And so because of all those multiple surgeries, I had nerve damage. And so some battles, they leave scars that's deeper than what people can see on the outside. But one of the things that I do remember, I remember that prayer works. If I don't remember nothing else, I remember that. Because my family refused to believe anything other than the fact that God was going to do it, that God was going to heal me. And every single day, literally from that very first surgery, when I first was rushed to the hospital and transferred from room to room and from doctor to doctor and operation table, when I would come back, I would play Brian Courtney Wilson's song, I'll Just Say Yes. When I was scared, because I was scared, I just continued to play, and that song was on repeat. I'll just say yes. When I was weak, I'll just say yes. When I did not understand what was happening to my body, I just kept saying, yes, Lord. I remember receiving prayer, and I remember my pastor, my father, my mother praying for me. And I just remember my hands lifting because I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't eat. I mean, it was bad. But I remember lifting my hands and surrendering to God. And I said, I trust you. And I said, yes, Lord. It was yes to my healing. Yes to survival. Yes to whatever purpose that you still had for my life in this. And somewhere along that particular journey, I remember thinking to myself, as the days rolled by and the calendar went from the beginning of the month to the end of the month, I began to say, I'm going to make it. And so there was 2 songs on my playlist. I added Fantasia's song, the song that she sang with Ty Tribbett. I made it because one song carried my surrender and the other song carried my survival. Because after everything that my body endured, the surgeries, the trauma, the pain, the uncertainty, all of that I went through, I made it. And so when people see me, they would never know the battles that I have survived, because I truly do not look like what I've been through. And I have God to thank for that. And this is why, y'all, I love so hard. This is why I sing so hard. This is why I preach hard, and why I go hard for my life, and I go hard in the paint, because I laugh because I'm happy, and I smile because life is precious. It's a gift. And I know what it feels like to almost lose my life. And after burying so many loved ones, I no longer take waking up for granted, and you shouldn't either. There is nothing too hard for God. If you didn't hear anything else, I need you to hear it again. There is nothing too hard for God. If God brought me through this, He can certainly do it for you.